OneDayOnly is an online daily deal site that runs amazing deals and amazing products for a 24-hour period only. Every day is like Groundhog Day. The site wipes completely clean at midnight every night with a whole fresh batch of deals going live the next day that run again for another 24 hours. Yes, we are exhausted. But what it does is gives us a very unique situation in that we have a very, very short window and a very short period within which to actually market the products. So I come from a fashion design background and a product background. I got involved with the business 7 years ago. At that stage, Christian Oberhofer and Maurits van Buren had started this amazing business 10 years ago. They'd started it as a little side business. They had a great idea, like many great startup stories, and they put a website up and saw if anybody would buy any of the products. It started to work, it started to generate some interest, and they were running it almost as a small little enterprise. They had two guys working with them. One of them was a 21-year-old professional poker player who was doing all of their procurement, customer service, wrapping the parcels all from the comfort of his parents' bedroom. And up in Johannesburg, they had a guy running a side hustle from his stepfather's business. So it really was just a small business where everyone was running along and figuring it out as they went along. So 7 years ago, when I got involved, my job was to find one product in a day and get it up on the site. Nowadays, that seems like a very easy task, but back then, people weren't comfortable with discounting their brands, people didn't know who we were, people weren't comfortable actually sharing their credit card details online, so it was a very, very, very different industry to where it is right now. And I think many of you have experienced that as well. But as we went along, we suddenly, after a couple of months, asked the question, what would happen if instead of running just one deal in a day, we actually popped a few more deals up? So we did that, we ran a few, and we started to use the data to see, well, actually, our figures are up, and it's actually working. And so we redeveloped the site, used some user experience, and made sure that we could actually run the site in a form of which it's actually become scalable to be able to be what it is today. And the business grew. We continuously were sort of running along and doing things ourselves. One of us would put something on Facebook. Somebody else would be worrying about Twitter. We would be sending out our emails. And we were just growing along. But naturally, things started to progress. And positions became available and were filled. Warehouses were rented and then upgraded. Offices were done. And we now have a warehouse in Johannesburg and in Cape Town. And we've got a head office in Cape Town as well. We've got well over 210 staff. So it's been a great journey. But about 3 years ago, and I think this is the interesting part for me, we were using a digital agency to do our digital strategy and online marketing. And we used to sit and have a quarterly meeting with them, and they would give us feedback. And I think we suddenly realized that we were starting to spend a considerable amount of money on digital performance, and we didn't really understand it, but we knew this was something that we needed to do. So we would sit in a quarterly meeting. It was full of acronyms, jargon, a 77-page PowerPoint presentation, and to be honest, a whole lot of smoke and mirrors. And at the end of one of these massive presentations, I looked at the guys and said, I really have to be honest, I don't understand 90% of what you've just said here today, but I do know this. Our sales are not feeling the momentum that we would hope it would feel. Secondly, our customer and our subscriber base, which is the people who get our newsletters every day, which is our biggest marketing tool, is going backwards. So how can you guys say that we are shooting the lights out? And I think it really put us in the position of saying, well, we actually need to take charge here. We need to understand what's happening with digital, how it works, what we need to be doing. And so we did that. The first thing that we realized is that we needed to actually set a bit of a strategy and say, what do we want to achieve here? And there were two priorities. The first thing is that we needed to get new subscribers in, high-quality subscribers, not just a big base of people who are never going to shop. And secondly, we wanted to make sure that we converted those subscribers into shoppers. And so what was the result of this? Well, within the last 2 years, 76% of our customer as customers that have shopped ever in One Day Only have come on board in those last 2 years, and 64% of them in the last year. So you can see that things have started ramping up very rapidly since we got involved with this. So you can see the data has become something that is absolutely the backbone of our business, and it has driven many things forward. So here are some of the things that we've encountered along the way. Firstly, we have been able to collect rich and consistent data across all sorts of parts of people, devices, and products. And this helps us with our customer and our sales predictions. We can then connect those data points for full funnel marketing and optimization. We all know that you can get a sale from Facebook, for example, and it's very easy to say, well, that's where the sale came from, and that's where we put our budget. But it's very, very possible that the first time someone encountered us is on Instagram. They then subscribed to our newsletter. They were reminded of us the next day on that. They still didn't buy anything. They might then be retargeted by RTB House and see our adverts somewhere else. But their final action point was on Facebook, and it happened to be a product that they really liked, and that's where they buy. But if we put all our money just in that one area, we would be missing out on all of the other touch points of areas where we could actually be getting our customers to shop. The other thing is it has helped us with our strategic planning. We've got a much clearer picture of where we are going and what we need to spend our money on. I think the one thing that we've got with online is a very, very clear return on investment. So we're in a very unique situation. We can see exactly if we spend X, that's what we get in return for that. And we also can see our opportunities and risks. We've got a lot of times that we've got campaigns running. We can see immediately if something is working or not working, and we can put our money into something else completely in a very, very quick space in time. So some of the challenges that we've got, one of them is attribution. For example, Facebook and Google have different methods of attributing and different ways of measuring successes. If we use every bit of measurements for each area, we're going to have a problem with having reliable information. We need to focus on the correct data, and we need to get a better understanding on our return on ad spend versus volume. It means that we need to have a really good understanding of who our customers are and how they're going to be spending. I've just got a few last thoughts. Firstly, focus on what are the most important things and important strategies that you want to achieve through your marketing and your digital marketing. Secondly, become obsessed with experimenting. We've got a monthly budget for testing and trialing new things all the time to see where we're going to grow going forward. And thirdly, how is marketing contributing towards the overall business success? If your marketing and your data is not moving the needle forward, then you aren't going to have the success that you'd like. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've learned an enormous amount today. Many of you provide services for e-commerce, and I think it was very interesting. I would have actually loved to have had that presentation right at the beginning, because it showed what a small to medium-sized e-commerce company has to do in order to attract customers, in order to keep customers, in order to sell, in order to deliver, etc., etc. I'm reminded that my very first chairman of the e-commerce forum, South Africa, said that e-commerce is made up of many moving parts. It's not a simple exercise, and therefore I think we have covered most of the issues, not all of them, but most of the issues that make up that e-commerce experience and environment. And I'd like to now invite you to drinks. I'm the only person between you and drinks. And also say that the presentations will be available from the organizers. So if you don't get the presentations, please chase the organizers. They will make those presentations available. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for staying the course. Those people, of course, who left are now sitting in the traffic, swearing and cursing, and wondering why they aren't here. And it serves them right. Thank you. Thank you.